What's up, superhumans? BT here. Man, oh man, training is getting hard. I'm officially 45 days away from Worlds. Yes, if you are new here, well, first of all, welcome, but I am training for World Masters Championships, which is like World Championships for everybody over 30, and that is happening in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that is for Jiu-Jitsu. I am 41 years old. I am no spring chicken, and getting older is rough, right? And number two, I have trained almost 35 hours this week, almost a full-time job. And when you're 41, that is a lot of hours of training. After Worlds last year, getting beat first round, that was pretty devastating.
Well, I lost.
One of the things I learned about myself was that my conditioning was just not that great. So for the last 4 months, I've put a heavy emphasis on improving it. I've also had to improve my nutrition and my recovery so that it can help me get there. And we'll talk about that more here in a second, but it's worked. So what does a typical training day look like for me? Well, typically, I hit the gym around 7:30 a.m. Each training session starts with the sauna. From there, I'm hopping on a spin bike just to help me get my knees warm. I usually spend 10 to 20 minutes doing that. All of my gym workouts come from an app called Juggernaut BJJ. I will also put a link to the video review I did down in the description. Check it out after this one. But just know that I love this app. I think it is the best personal training app ever made, even if you don't do jiu-jitsu. It has had me go through a building phase, a strength phase, and as I get closer to competing, I'll be moved into power and speed. This workout, along with the warm-up, usually takes about 90 minutes. And most of the time, I can get it done. But if I can't, I'll come back later in the day and finish. These are rounds for time, which simulate the amount of time I spend in a match. My jiu-jitsu match is 6 minutes. This rounds for time equals 6 minutes. But I gotta do some mobility. I gotta get my arms, my shoulders in a better spot for jiu-jitsu. So I'm gonna do this later, and I'm gonna focus on the mobility stuff. From there, I'm heading to the 10 a.m. jiu-jitsu class. Today's gonna be rough. This is obviously the majority of my training. Not only is it physically demanding, but this is the skill that I'm trying to develop. I've found this out the hard way. Just getting stronger is not going to help me win the championship. I actually need to get better at this skill of jiu-jitsu. And I can only do that through a ton of reps. And right now I'm doing between 1 and 2 jiu-jitsu sessions a day. Each session is about 90 minutes long. I think I had like 5 rolls. I think I videoed 2 of them. The other 3 were great. They were very hard, and I'm very smashed and my neck is very tight. As I mentioned earlier, I've done a few competitions, and learning the hard way, I know that my conditioning isn't great. So some of the activities that I've added to help improve my conditioning are things like rucking, which is walking with weight on your back at altitude, 1,500 feet higher than what I normally sleep at. I've got a camera bag on me, which is about 15 pounds with water and all the camera equipment. So not a lot of weight, but infinitely more comfortable than like a weight vest. Or walking at altitude, jogging at altitude, swimming, and sprinting. If I could only do one exercise for the rest of my life, excluding jiu-jitsu, to be as healthy and as fit and as lean as possible, I'd do sprinting. For one reason or another, it's also the thing we all stopped doing after high school. I don't know if it's because 99% of high school athletes don't go on to compete collegiately and professionally, or if it's just we've stopped going to gym class. I don't know what it is, but we stopped doing it, and we definitely shouldn't. Sprinting and bounding and jumping are incredibly important skills to have, and they will keep you really fit. I'm not a nutrition zealot. I don't stick to any sort of hardcore diet. I'm not a carnivore. I don't do keto. I'm not paleo. I'm not Whole30. I don't track calories. I don't even track macros. But I do follow a few principles that just make sense to me. Eat plenty of protein to help with recovery. Eat plenty of carbs to give you enough energy so that you can train and recover. And don't eat a ton of unnecessary fats. So what am I eating? Well, my first meal is typically a meal from a brand called Creatures of Habit. They actually have a meal called Meal One. And the best way I can describe it is like a superfood oatmeal. There's plenty of protein. It's got like 30 grams of protein, some carbohydrates, but it's much more than just oatmeal. To get some extra protein in, I'll usually mix in 1 scoop of whey protein, sometimes a little bit of peanut butter. But the reason I do this meal, not just because it's delicious and nutritious, is because of my schedule. You see, by that time, it's already 12, right? I mean, I've been up since 5 a.m. 7 hours have already gone by. I don't want to spend another hour making a meal. And this only takes a minute to cook. So it's very convenient, very fast, very healthy and nutritious, and it just works really well for me. I find that I keep to my diet much better if I'm cooking my own food. But if for whatever reason I can't, then I will grab something from Trifecta. It's a meal service. They make Whole30 approved meals, really simple, meat, starch, a little bit of fat. That only takes 3 minutes and I'm good to go. But I will say I'm eating like 2 at a time because there's just not enough calories for me in one meal. One of the most requested things you asked for was my supplementation, and so I'll put that in here. I really don't get very fancy with my supplementation. I've got supplements for some testosterone support, a multivitamin, creatine, and like a pre-workout powder. And then a super secret supplement that I don't really want to share, but I will share it. Every morning, I take a serving of Fedosia agrestis and Tongkat Ali for increasing testosterone. Now, I first heard about this combo through Dr. Andrew Huberman when he was interviewed by Joe Rogan.
There are these plant compounds like Tonga Ali and another one which is very interesting. It's a Nigerian shrub called Fedosia agrestis.
I've been doing it for quite a while now and I really do enjoy the results. Okay, here is the super secret supplement. It's called Extreme Endurance and I've been taking this since my volleyball days. But basically, it helps you buffer lactic acid, the waste product that your muscles produce during activity. And when you produce lactic acid, you felt it, it's the burn. It really fatigues your muscles. So if you can buffer this stuff and clear it out faster than you build it, well, then you can go a little bit longer. And that's exactly what you can do on this stuff. It's basically like getting a third lung. And I take these supplements along with like a little pre-workout concoction, just some pre-workout powder and some creatine hydrochloride. And then finally, the last thing I do is in the afternoon at some point, I will take a serving of greens. So this one that I have is pink lemonade flavor. It's actually pretty darn good.
That's honestly not that bad.
I will mix it with some Element, which is an electrolyte. I guess that would fit into this supplement section as well. I mix those two up and drink that. And that's it for supplements. Now, more important than the training, especially for my 41-year-old ass, is recovery.
All right, I have made an appointment with my buddy Arlo. He is a massage therapist, and hopefully I can make my body feel better because I'm in a lot of pain right now.
On the recovery front, I'm doing much, much more than I was just a few months ago. 1, if I don't have the energy to train. And 2, if I don't, my body falls apart and I'm in pain.
It's gonna be great when it's done, but right now,
Right.
it hurts.
And if you've done jujitsu before for a decent amount of time, you know that's what the theme is, pain. It basically feels like you're being put through a meat grinder every class.
What's really interesting is I told Arlo that my back and my neck hurt, and the first thing he started doing was just beating the shiz out of my rib cage and my lat.
Looking at Brandon, his shoulders are really rolled forward. You see that a lot with people who sit at a desk a lot, people that do jiu-jitsu too, right? We're always tucked forward. And so when everything is rolled forward, it puts constant tension on everything in the upper back and neck because it's being pulled all the time. So we're trying to open up the chest here, release some restriction through the rib cage and through the serratus and the subscapularis, which is one of the rotator cuff muscles that internally rotates the arm. By releasing that, it'll take tension off of the back. So that's what we're doing.
There we go.
And to work on that, I'm doing a ton of lacrosse ball work, Graston therapy, massage therapy, PT, etc. And here's kind of how that goes down. After the first workout, I will use a foam roller to get the bigger muscles like my quads, hamstrings, glutes, back, etc. Then I'll use a lacrosse ball to get into my shoulders and pecs. This is ridiculously painful, but it works. And to help with range of motion, I'm gonna do some stretching, but I'm gonna use a band to help me do it. I don't know if you knew this, but there are actually a ton of exercises and recovery work in the playlist called Fix Yourself here on my channel. Yes, that's right. On this channel, there's a playlist called Fix Yourself. And inside of that, you'll find well over 100 videos that are gonna help you navigate things like shoulder pain, ankle pain, knee pain. When I decided that I was going to train and put myself in a position to win this tournament, I did not take that lightly. And anything I could do to improve my chances of winning, I was going to do it. Basically, that saying like, no stone left unturned. However, when I started thinking about it, there was a recovery that I was neglecting that I was starting to see everywhere. And when Dr. Huberman started talking about it, I knew I had to get more involved. And that is cold water immersion. I had been doing cryotherapy for a long time, and that was about as uncomfortable as I wanted to get. However, cold water immersion and cryotherapy aren't the same thing. So it took me a while, but I tracked down an ice bath that I thought would be awesome. One, you gotta understand, I don't like cold water. I don't wanna do it. And all the other ice baths having to add ice, or you have to build like a DIY one yourself. Why would I want to make the thing I don't want to do even more complicated and time consuming? This is my ice bath, and it's by a company called Energize, and I'm gonna be doing a review on it later. But just know that I've been using this for the last 3 weeks, maybe a month, doing it every other day, and I have seen some massive improvements. It's working wonders for my concussion symptoms, inflammation, and my mental health. The ice bath is 50 to 55 degrees. It can go much lower, but that's about all I can tolerate for right now, and I'm sitting in there anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. I made a contract with my body. I said, body, for the next 3 months, you're holding together. All right? 3 months, you got to give me what I need. And after that, I'll give you whatever you want. Well, there you go. That is my training week in a nutshell. I can't believe I'm training as much as I am and as much as I used to train when I was playing volleyball professionally. It's been really cool to be hungry for something because I haven't been like that in a long time. What are you hungry for? Is there something big and hard that you're trying to achieve? If so, follow along, subscribe, and I can help you get there. It doesn't have to be jujitsu. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it educational and entertaining at the very least. If so, make sure you hit the like button and, like I said, subscribe. We do some really cool stuff on this channel. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.